Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
At number 4, we have Rocky 3. Yeah, I don't know. It feels so wrong to have Rocky 3 this low on my list. It really doesn't compute, and I really struggled with this ranking. But at the end of the day, I had to put the other 3 films left before it. That said, I think this is cream of the crop Rocky right here. I mean, let's be real. It doesn't really get any better than this, does it? So, let's set the stage. Rocky won the championship from Apollo in Rocky 2. And even though Rocky was considered over the hill in the first Rocky,
You ever think about retiring? No. You think about it.
and in Rocky 2 was legally blind in one eye,
You got the heart, but you ain't got the tools no more. Now forget it.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right. That's. You didn't even see that coming, did you?
well, Rocky 2 made a buttload of money, so Rocky's health problems be damned. Eye of the Tiger is such an iconic piece of music, as it plays over a montage of Rocky's recent KO victories. Sylvester Stallone originally wanted Another One Bites the Dust,
Another one bites the dust.
but Queen wouldn't give him permission to use the song in the movie. Thanks, Queen, because Survivor ended up cranking out this all-time hit specifically for Rocky 3, which wasn't just a kick-ass song, it was a major theme of the movie.
Now, when we fought, you had that eye of the tiger, man, the edge.
Speaking of the movie, I really enjoyed the vibes of this one. It has some of the grittiness of the 70s with a newly acquired cheese factor of the 80s. Rocky is no longer living in poverty. As the heavyweight champion, he lives in a luxurious house and has cars and the finest designer clothes. He also was able to pay for a brain transplant, apparently. I mean, let's be real. Rocky in part 1 and 2 was practically special needs.
In the morning, I splash it on, and it makes me smell mainly.
Smeal mainly?
Here, Rocky speaks much more eloquently and has an expanded vocabulary. At times, it doesn't even feel like Stallone is playing Rocky, more so than he is just playing Stallone. I have to admit, this change of his character does kind of bother me. But let's put that aside for a second and focus on what this movie brought to the world. Mr. T as Clubber Lang and Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips. Two of the biggest icons of the 80s used this film as their launch pad into stardom. If Hulk didn't get cast in this movie, we don't get Hulkamania. It's pretty crazy to think about.
And I'll dog paddle us, backstroke all of us to safety.
Oh, and thank you, Hulk Hogan. Let's get back to action. Wow.
So, Rocky gets bent out of shape when Mickey tells him he doesn't want him to fight Clubber, because Clubber Lang is hungry and brutal. And the last few victories Rocky had in the ring were the result of Mickey setting up fights with easier competition. Still, Rocky wants to press on, and I get it.
Hey, woman, bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man.
Adrian was a little tempted there, don't you think? Mr. T is phenomenal in this as Clubber Lang. Has there ever been a more intimidating presence brought to screen? It's a masterclass of a performance, with every facial expression and line of dialogue that preaches of Rocky's impending doom.
I reject the challenge because Balboa is no challenge, but I'd be more than happy to beat up on him some more.
We believe every word this guy says. So Mickey agrees to train Rocky, and even though Clubber came on to his wife, and Mickey's revelation about the lackluster competition Rocky has been facing to keep his reign as champ going, Rocky kind of takes this fight in stride. Not training hard, posing for pictures, signing autographs, and letting the press into the gym while he trains. Clubber, on the other hand, trains like a complete psychopath. There's no doubt whatsoever about what the outcome of this fight is going to be. Rocky gets destroyed in 2 rounds, as he was totally unprepared for the fight, but also because Mickey was shoved before the bell, causing him to go into cardiac arrest. To say that Rocky was distracted during this fight would be an understatement. Mickey's death is easily the most heartbreaking thing to happen in this franchise. Never one to back down from an opportunity, Apollo then seeks Rocky out with a plan to train him to get back to the top and reclaim the championship from Clubber Lang. But let's talk about the 700-pound gorilla in the room, shall we? Rocky's heart initially isn't into training. He has had his self-confidence blustered with Mickey's revelation about the cupcake opponents and PTSD due to his last fight with Clubber. But Apollo's plan is to train Rocky to not fight like Rocky anymore. You know, using his face to block punches, out-toughing his opponents to will himself to victory at the end, because that just isn't going to work against Clubber, who has the brute force to chop Rocky down like a tree. So what's his plan? To make Rocky fight like Apollo. They work on his speed, his quickness, his footwork, rhythm, dexterity, the whole 9 yards. So my question is, if Apollo's plan to beat Clubber is to have Rocky fight like Apollo, and Rocky's head isn't in the game, why didn't Apollo just fight Clubber? Look, I get that Apollo was supposed to be quote-unquote retired in this movie, but Apollo looks more game-ready than Rocky does, almost for the entire runtime of the movie. The dude is still oiled up and jacked, but okay, ran over, I get it. If they went that route, we couldn't call the movie Rocky, now could we? But I have to admit it, the plot point has always bothered me. Apollo looks like he could kick everyone's ass in this movie. Adrian is able to talk some sense into Rocky, and just like that, he's back, baby. I like what they did with the fights in this movie, focusing on showing the first couple of rounds in their entirety, rather than once again doing the montage into the later rounds approach of the first 2 movies. Rocky's able to knock out Clubber after 3 brutal rounds, after Rocky decides he doesn't like this fight like Apollo approach, and starts fighting like Rocky again, taking blow after blow to the face in order to tire Clubber out. It works. Reminiscent of Ali Foreman when Ali adopted the rope-a-dope strategy.
Touch this. You can't touch this.
Great movie, great fight, even if the ending is undercut by Rocky's weird jump move at the end, followed by Adrian's pedestrian, yay!